Have a great Sunday.
Have a great Sunday. Go to church. These are Facts and Friends. This is Facts and Friends. Those are Fucks and Friends. I am your host, Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. It is Sunday. It's casual. My light doesn't seem to be very bright today. Hi, Pumpkin Pie. Hi, David. Congratulations on being first. Hi, Jessica. Congratulations on being first. There we go. We are going to watch a little bit of Martha Maria Masterson Jambini doing her Sunday morning features, because that's always crazy. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. Hi, Leah. Well, hey, Leah. Haven't seen you in a while. People were asking about you the other day. I don't have a ton of time right now, but since I hadn't broadcast yesterday, and really not really on Friday at all, I thought I would come by and see everybody. Hi, producer Joanna. Congratulations on being first. What's going on tonight? We're gonna watch a little more. We might watch a little bit. It's always crazy. We might just have a little conversation in here too. There's no agenda. Trump is gone. There's nothing like there's plenty going on. There's plenty to talk about, but you're getting all the news you need right now, I think, from the main media. We'll cover things when they come up. Importantly, am I still demonetized? I do not know. Waiting for word back on that. Thank you very much for letting me know. The big news is that if the judges aren't here, I have now a very tiny gong and this thing, so I can hit the gong if the judges aren't here. 3 of the judges are in today. The 3 Jewish judges that I currently have on staff, they took off yesterday. They take off the Sabbath, of course. Well, one of them I don't think is actually practicing, but she asked for the Sabbath off, and so she gets the Sabbath. I can't question that, right? I don't even think she's Jewish, but I can't. There's nothing I can say. She's not Jewish. That's one of the other judges rang the bell. So, they gave you up. Dr. Howard is Jewish. When am I going to get my damn stimulus check? It should come to your bank account, and it should be $1,400. Now, the irony of the whole thing is it's $1.9 trillion. It's going to be spent over a number of years, right? 1.9 trillion. The people that probably need that right now more than anybody, the people that need assistance right now more than anybody, are people who've been demonetized by YouTube. Also, people who are on unemployment, and children living below the poverty line. So it does things to address the kids living below the poverty line. But Joe Manchin, what he thought was really important was not that we're sending $1,400 checks to people making $78K a year and are still fully employed. It's the unemployed people. And just because of quirks of the system and how I'm paid when I am working, I only get $250 a week for unemployment, which I obviously can't survive on. Kevin Lee daughter, she gets $81 a week from California. $81. So the important thing was to limit the amount of extra funding that we get. Because $400, too much. Too much money per week. We'd probably go out and rent some house. Some apartment somewhere. We live in LA. We had to move out of our apartment because I knew this pandemic thing was going to take a while. I remember back then, my landlord was like, this should all be wrapped up by the middle of May. Oh yeah, no, all the studios are going to go open back. Oh yeah. She probably meant May this year. But anyway, nothing bad to say about my former landlords. It was a wonderful place. I wish we could move back in. Now there's new people living there, which is weird because Mervyn's. Talking about stores that went away, we did that on Friday, I think. Madison Cawthorn does suck. The judges agree with you, Jennifer. Pumpkin Pie says, congrats on getting everything together, USA. Not perfect, but together. Here in Canada, we are falling behind in vaccines. Yes, that is true. Big news on the vaccine front. We're jumping around in topics today because it's Sunday. And since that's the day of the week, we're going to just jump around. the big news on the vaccine front is that I am eligible as of the 15th. I have the note from my cardiologist saying that I'm eligible because the next group in California is going to be those with pre-existing conditions. And one of those conditions, I still have asthma, I have a heart condition, and I'm mentally insane. So all three of those get me the shot on the 15th. The most recent vaccine opening up that I've seen online is the 14th. So maybe even tomorrow I will get myself an appointment. I'm very hopeful. The exciting part about the vaccine news, and I'm sorry, Pumpkin Pie, that I have to tell you this, but for the first time, today was the very first day ever in California that I went to the myturn.ca.gov, and there are a lot of appointments available. The sites that I was looking at, just based on my zip code, one of them divvies it out by if you're an emergency worker or if you're a school teacher or whatever, they're all divvied up. The one for 65 and older, Wednesday probably has 50 appointments available, which previous to this, you would have to go through site after site after site in terms of vaccine sites. It's all on the same website, myturn.ca.gov. In terms of 65 and older for the seniors, all kinds of appointments available on Wednesday. So if you know someone in California who is eligible currently but hasn't been able to get an appointment, contact them right now because I was just on there 5 minutes ago. And like I said, there's been no availability. They're limited, but you catch it. Like I made an appointment for someone at 5 in the morning. I just happened to be awake because my stupid body wouldn't go to sleep. So what I'm saying is if you know somebody in California, get them on now. It all depends on the county. This is Los Angeles County that I'm talking about. Speaking of talking about, let's check in on the insanity on Maria this morning. This is Sunday Morning Features. Right away, we've got Kevin McCarthy.
Into Congress.
Okay, so this is just the promo for Kevin McCarthy, or is it? It's not jumping ahead on me very. Okay, so we've got. Should we even do?
Grab to guarantee that the Democrats stay in charge and Republicans cannot win again. Here's what Senator Rand Paul told me on Mornings with Maria last week. Are you worried in any way of future elections being fair?
I'm terrified of election integrity, and I'm all for election integrity, but the opposite of what Nancy Pelosi thinks that is. I think we need to have in-person voting, and it needs to remain in.
Yeah, Rand Paul wants to get rid of all mail-in voting. By the way, even before this year, 5 states did complete mail-in voting. One of them I lived in, Washington. Some of you live in. Oregon has done it. Colorado's been doing it. Utah, red Utah has been doing it, and it's fine. But the Republicans are still on it. That it's too open to fraud. You know, because you'd want to change an election, so you're going to stake out thousands of mailboxes and then steal thousands of letters, somehow fake thousands of signatures. Ridiculous. Jennifer's up in Oregon. Yeah, and it's been working great. Oregon's been doing it for 20 years now or something, and it's been fantastic. And you get much higher participation in the election, which is democracy, and you get much lower fraud.
Control of the states. So I've been going around to each of the states, including my state.
Okay, leave control of the elections to the states, but don't let them do mail-in voting. That's what we have now, is leaving control of the states, except, of course, for the Voters' Rights Act, which was struck down because the Trump administration took it to the conservative Supreme Court, and they said that's not fair, that some states you have to tell them what to do. Now, the Voters' Rights Act came around after a lot of Jim Crow laws, etc. So at some point, the United States said, hey, you southern states who have a certain amount of segregated population, you have to check with the Department of Justice before you make election changes so we can tell if you're trying to segregate African Americans in the election process. Well, under Trump, the Department of Justice sued themselves. I know, right? And the Supreme Court agreed with them and said, no, Voter Rights Act, not a thing anymore. And consequently, a whole bunch of states right now, a whole bunch of red states, are rushing to pass I think it was 49 laws the last time I saw. I'm sure it's more by now, but this is about a week ago. Limiting the ability of African Americans to vote. Democrats, basically. En masse. For example, Sunday. They want to do away with early voting on Sunday. And in the South, it's tradition on Sundays to do what they call souls to the polls, where you go to church and then you all march down to the local voting station and you vote together as a congregation. You got Jesus, you got in-person voting, and the Republicans want to eliminate it. And they tell you that there's no systemic racism in the United States. Just unbelievable.
And trying to get election law.
Although, if you understand the Republican Party, completely believable. 100% believable. Here's the thing, guys. As a white male, these people talk to me. I know I'm one of them. I should say I walk amongst them. It's like when Michonne in The Walking Dead covered herself in zombie blood and guts so they couldn't smell her and they would just ignore her and she could like make her way through the crowd. It's not the crowd. What do they call it on Walking Dead? The mob? The horde. She'd make her way through the horde.
Formed. I think you need to vote in person, but I think we also need to make it such that secretaries of state and the government shouldn't be out paying and using taxpayer money to go to your house with ballots and applications to vote.
They should be opening up more polling stations and spending more money on that instead, and paying people to man the polls. You get rid, for example, by it's the stupidest thing. It's so much cheaper to vote by mail. So much cheaper, and requires so many fewer man hours of taxpayer money. Was it Wyoming or Montana? One of the states way up there. The other year when they had a special election, there was going to be, just in the state with no people, just in Wyoming or Montana, I don't remember which one, perhaps both. I saw that. I wasn't even going to say anything about the shirt sleeve, Stephanie, but yes. A vest, and it's not even like a flannel vest. It's a Patagonia vest, if Patagonia is a material, with a pink dress shirt. Hi Yoshi, hey Christopher Ryan, good to see you. Just the savings in this state with no people, Montana or Wyoming, doesn't matter, less than 1 million people, it was going to save $2.5 million for a state with fewer than 1 million people. And Rand is all like, oh, we need to get rid of the mail.
Meanwhile, Biden has yet to hold a solo press conference since he took office. Now,
oh, the horror. I know that he's answered more than an hour's worth of questions. I know that because I've watched more than an hour of Biden answering questions. But he hasn't done something solo with no other information, no announcement, because he comes out and makes statements. He informs the United States public, especially having to do with the COVID virus, etc., and then he takes some questions. Not good enough. All right. We gave Trump a hard time for not taking questions at the beginning too, so fine. But that's what the Republicans have right now. That's what Fox News is clinging to. No solo press conference. They can't even say press conference because really anything can be a press conference. Ever since Trump decided anything is a press conference, so now they're calling it a solo press conference because he has done pressers with a bunch of other either cabinet people or with COVID people. You'll remember that Stephanie Grisham didn't give a single press conference, not one. And she's the press secretary. She was the press secretary. Check my DMs. I'll check my DMs.
46 days ago, on January 20th, his first State of the Union address has also been pushed back. Joining me right now to weigh in on all of this is the former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe. Good morning.
Chris, what do you want me to see in my DMs? There's a couple of things from you. Oh, that's from December 30th, 2021, so probably not that. Let's take a look at this one right here. News, State Department, Trump appointee. Oh, this guy. Federico Klein's arrest for assault on a cop at Capitol Rights. Yeah, this is somebody working in the State Department for Trump, was part of the assault on the police officers. Has a rap sheet of previous arrests. 2 assaults, 2 thefts, robbery, other charges in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. Oh, God. And he was working in Trump's State Department. But, right now, the Republicans are so upset that Joe Biden and the Democrats want to give convicted thieves, etc., felons, the right to vote in federal elections once their time has been served and they are off parole. That's the goal. Give them back their fundamental right, their sacrosanct right, as Trump once put it, to vote. You give that back to them. Oh, the whore. But you want to work in the State Department? Come on in. You want top secret clearance? Come on. How did that happen? How does somebody with multiple arrests get top secret clearance? Trump. That's what happens. Hi, Chuck. Good to see you. Hey, Sydney James. Only the best people. Judges agree.
Morning, John. It's wonderful to have you this morning.
Do we want to listen to John? Let's skip John. It's just completely irrelevant, except in the appointment of senators, and we're not even going to get into that today. Let's skip right past him. Let's get to Kevin. Because nothing like watching a Kevin on TV. Kevins are idiots. Joanna said something. Oh, no. Joanna says jinx Cindy. She was going to say only the best people. Here's the way producer Joanna works. Whatever you say, if it's clever, she's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm on a delayed feed. I'm making souffle right now. I was just listening, but I was going to say it, but I was taking the souffle out of the oven, and I didn't want the souffle. By the way, was it every television show in the 1980s that everybody had to be quiet or the souffle would collapse? Was it the souffle? The bun? What was it? It wasn't a bun cake. Souffles. Remember, everybody was making souffles in the 80s. I'm a bit low-key today. I'm a bit low-key.
Single Republican voted for this bill. Here's what GOP House Leader Kevin McCarthy had to say about it when he joined us last week.
Oh, this is just like a best of. Worst of?
This thing is just so corrupt, so costly, and you look at it, it's just so liberal. Think about it for one.
Corrupt. It's corrupt. The bill that the Congress is passing and then will be signed by the president, the people who won the election, it's corrupt. The people literally making the law right now, corrupt. Words have lost all meaning. Pretty soon we're going to be calling Panda Express gourmet Chinese food. We do? Wow. Yeah, the judges. One of them's eating Panda Express right now. What? You could pick up anywhere and you went for Panda Express? Okay, it is cheap.
Moment, only less than 9%. We have done 5 other COVID bills, and every single one of those was bipartisan.
Okay, the CARES Act, every single Democrat voted for the CARES Act. Okay? What did the CARES Act do? That sent out checks, that extended unemployment, that helped with schools, all the things that this bill is doing, not a single Republican vote. When the Republicans were in power, every single Democrat voted for that bill, for the CARES Act. Now, Republicans just can't do it. Not one of them. And you want bipartisanship. Well, then vote for the bill that gives money to the American people. Yeah?
The Biden administration has become the most partisan administration in modern history.
Okay.
Think for one.
Fine. Because you know what? 66% of the American people like this bill. 2/3. So if you want to be in that other third, you go right ahead. 70% of the American people approve of the way that Biden is handling the COVID virus right now. 70%. You want to be in that 3 out of 10? Go sit over there, Kev. You're irrelevant anyway.
moment. We still have $1 trillion sitting out there that has to be appropriated.
Yeah, 4 Democrats voted nay, and 3 of them were because it didn't have the $15 minimum wage in it. They wanted more. But I'll agree, though, out of the 1.9, there's a ton of stuff in there that doesn't need to be in there. But this is your chance to do it because you're not going to get any Republican votes. You have to use the reconciliation, which is only 50 votes to pass. You have to use that while you can. The very good news, you know what? This is so much more important than Kevin. I want to show you guys something right here. Because this is actually the news of the day. I don't know if people have been talking about it in the news. I don't know if people have been talking about it on the Twitter. Give me a second. I'll get it here because this is huge. Joe Manchin is sort of the deciding vote right now in the Senate because he's the 50th Democrat. So the Democrats lose 1 vote, they got nothing. Joe Manchin does not want to get rid of the filibuster. Let me bring up where on Fox News Sunday. There it is. On Fox News Sunday, Chris Wallace asked him about the filibuster. Now, here's the thing about the filibuster.
Years.
I stopped it
very early on.
Earlier today, I was watching this and I stopped it mid-sentence because I was like, the guys are going to want to hear about this. You guys being the guys. You guys being the friends in Facts and Friends. So here's the thing about the filibuster. The way the filibuster used to be was like you saw in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or Mr. Chips Goes to Hollywood or Mr. Bojangles Goes to Weekend at Bernie's, where if you wanted to filibuster something, you had to stand there and speak until the rest of the Senate was like, okay, fine, we won't pass this. It's all changed now. You can trade places with people. Nobody has to be in the room. At some point, for example, if for example, when Ted Cruz read Green Eggs and Ham as his filibuster on, I don't even remember what now, but something irrelevant. He read his Green Eggs and Hams because he wanted to be able to say, oh yeah, and also Dr. Seuss, which I guess we killed Dr. Seuss. Is that what we did? Now the other senators, they don't even have to be in there. They could just leave or whatever. It's just sort of, it's gotten to the point where like, oh, somebody wants to filibuster. Okay. Do we have 60 votes for cloture? The cloture ends the filibuster. Nope. Okay. Well, filibuster as long as you want. And then that senator can filibuster until enough senators say, okay, fine, we won't vote on that. So filibusters are easy now. Filibusters used to be very painful because you could get up there and read, and once you stopped reading, once you stopped speaking, all right, do we have a vote? 50 votes? Good. Motion passes. Can't do that. Can't do that now. Now, you can keep the filibuster and just go back to the way the filibuster was originally operated so that if all the other senators leave the room and go to their offices or go home to sleep for the night, okay, calling a quorum, you call a quorum, do we have 50 people here? Okay, all we need is 60% of the people present. There's a bunch of different ways they could do it, but the question is, Joe Manchin will not vote to get rid of the filibuster, but will he vote to change the filibuster back to the old idea? Was he against the ACA? Was that what he was doing, Marcy? Thank you.
And I only got about 2 minutes here,
Okay.
is that you would not end the filibuster. The question I have is, would you consider, if the Republicans just won't go along with anything, reforming the filibuster? For instance, the filibuster doesn't apply now to either budget rules, that's why you have this reconciliation, budget issues, or to nominations. Would you consider extending exemptions to other issues? Or would you consider going back to the old filibuster, sort of like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and Jimmy Stewart, where you want a filibuster, it's not an automatic 60 votes. You got to stay on the Senate floor and keep talking.
The filibuster should be painful. It really should be painful, and we've made.
Boom, there it is. The filibuster should be painful. He's going to allow it to go back to the old ways where you couldn't just filibuster anything because you wanted some TV time.
It more comfortable. Oh,
now, this same asshole, excuse my French, cost me $100 a week because instead of $400 with the unemployment, he forced them to go with the $300. Oh, I'm going to get tax credits. Here's the thing. I don't know. This year, I hope I have to pay a lot of taxes this year. So far, not so great. I may, in fact, end up sort of breaking even on it. So, fine. It's 300, but it's a little 300 plus because it's tax exempt. We don't know the final bill yet because now it goes back to the House. And then Pelosi can do with some things with it there. They vote again, blah, 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 blah.
Over the years, not intentionally, maybe it evolved into that. Maybe it has to be more painful. Maybe you have to stand there. There's things we can talk about. But, Chris, whenever you take away in the Senate the ability for the minority, whoever it may be, Democrats or Republicans, to have input, why do you have 2 senators in a Rhode Island and 2 senators in a New York or California? Why is there one body that treats everyone, hopefully?
Holy smokes. What is he saying? Let's back this up again. This is what I've been saying, or I don't know if he's saying what I've been saying, but let's listen.
It really should be painful, and we've made it more comfortable over the years. Not intentionally, maybe it evolved into that. Maybe it has to be more painful. Maybe you have to stand there. There's things we can talk about. But, Chris, whenever you take away in the Senate the ability for the minority, whoever it may be, Democrats or Republicans, to have input, why do you have 2 senators in a Rhode Island and 2 senators in a New York or California? Why is there one body that treats everyone, hopefully?
Well, because of the compromise. In order to get the small states to agree to the union and be part of the union, they had to do the Senate. That's very specifically the reason why. Times have changed. You think Rhode Island is going to jump out of the Senate all of a sudden? Oh, we don't want to be part of the union anymore. Because we're represented equally now. So screw you guys in California. For those of you who don't know, it was my forefather who founded Rhode Island. I was going to show you the book. I'm a descendant of Roger Williams, the guy who founded Rhode Island. And I have no qualms whatsoever with the Senate going away. Come up with a different house if you want to. But the fact that somebody in Wyoming has 63 times the voting power that I had, it's wrong. It's undemocratic.
The ability to intervene, the ability to be involved, the ability to represent, no matter how large or small. That's so the big person doesn't take advantage of a smaller person or a person in not just stature, but...
By the way, I don't know what happened after 2020, but at least as of 2018, what was it? Something like 23% of the population controlled the Senate. That's how warped the whole system is, because the small states, almost all of them voted, with exceptions, of course, up in the Northeast. But for example, the small states in terms of population, the Wyomings, 2 Republican senators. Montana, sometimes they get a Democratic senator in there, but anyway. The Senate for years has been represented by the Republicans, and they've been representing fewer than 40 or less than 40% of the population. So it's completely wonky. It's not democracy.
In their position. That's what this is all about, and I'm going to fight for that.
But just to be clear, with 30 seconds left,
sure,
you would consider making it a little harder to invoke the filibuster so that you just don't automatically have 60 votes that you need for any legislation.
I'd make it harder to get rid of the filibuster. I'm supporting the filibuster. I'm going to continue to support the filibuster. I think it defines who we are as a...
I think he's saying yes, but he doesn't want to be seen as a guy who's willing to get rid of the filibuster because he's trying to protect the smaller states. How many people in West Virginia? Let's look that up. Yeah, West Virginia only has 1.8 million people, so he's a smaller state.
Senate. I'll make it harder to get rid of it, but it should be painful if you want to use it. You should.
Oh, Lindsay says to wait, so we'll wait for whatever it is Lindsay wants. Lindsay, are you going to follow that up with anything, or were we just waiting? I'm sorry, guys. I understand this is not good television, but Lindsay, she said to wait. So, oh, we're free to go. Moving on.
Make sure the place works to where, okay, I want to work with you. How can we do this? How do we move forward? My Republican friends are my friends. They're not my enemies. And my Democrats is my colleagues. They're not my enemy either. That's my caucus. Together, we've got to make this place work.
By the way, this guy who's now probably the most powerful senator because he's number 50 and he gets to have say. Now, every one of the Democrats could be that way, but they're all pretty cohesive on things. Plus, 2 of the Democrats are independents. Sanders and King are not Democrats. They're independents, but they caucus with the Democrats. This guy, not only did he cost me $100 a week, but he's like, you got to be careful. You don't want too much power. I've seen power corrupt people. He went on 4 morning shows this morning. 4 morning shows.
And it should be hard to invoke pain. It should be painful for us. Don't make it painful for the other side.
Senator Manchin, thank you.
I think that's probably enough for now, guys. Just a quick session today. I will play the credits, and then we'll come back and we'll just talk nonsense for a couple of minutes. I have also, if you come back after the credits, I happen to have Marcy sent me a link. It looks like the bobbing cat, the dancing cat, dances to the reading of the COVID relief bill. So that's something to look forward to if you sit through the credits. I want to play these credits. They're not the new credits. Here's the thing. Like today, I said, well, I've got like 30, 45 minutes that I could spare. I'll go work on the credits. And then I thought, you know what, though? I think I would do more if I did a broadcast, and then you guys could all talk to each other and stuff like that. What I should do probably is like edit the credits while you guys are chatting. So I should just live stream me editing the credits. I got to come up with an easier to edit credit because I literally am taking it from After Effects into Premiere and then stitching it together. There's got to be a better template for me to use. So the credits will be changing completely. I know a ton of you have been doing Cash App. I got to get that in there and stuff like that. Speaking of which, if you'd like to contribute, you can become a patron. You can go to Cash App if you have Cash App already. PayPal, Venmo. If you don't have the Cash App and you live in the United States, go to that link up in the top right there. Go to the Cash App. And the first time you spend $5, they will give you $5 back. So you can send me that $5 if you want to, or you can spend it on anything else you feel like. The first time you spend that $5, they give you $5 back, and I get $15 just for you using that $5 that you get back. So consider using the Cash App. It comes in and it looks just like a Visa. This is the back of mine right there. You get a debit card with it. And you get a CVV and everything, and it's one of those tapping cards as well. Other side, tapping cards as well. So you don't have to touch keys on things. You're boop, and just like a debit card. I didn't want to show you guys my number. I do have a story about the debit cards. Good idea. Then you can say nice things about your devoted Kevinly family. What, coming back afterwards? Yeah. So we'll come back for a few minutes after the credits. Of course. Producer Joanna, she likes the credits being played more than anyone. If you've never seen the credits, you'll figure out why in just a second. Guys, it's been a blast. We'll see you on the other side.
Kevin, thanks for that.
Thank you. I was just asking if anybody was still here, and they won't be for long since I'm muted. So, or I could just stay muted. About the same entertainment value, really. I know, guys. I see that. You guys are, so I noticed today that YouTube's about 3 seconds behind me, but that your chats are showing up on the YouTube page. So I'm just gonna open up YouTube so I can read your chats before. They're taking a couple of seconds to get from the YouTube page. Hold on. Taking just seconds, a couple of seconds to, so somebody say something in YouTube. Say, chat something. And I'll see, because it seems to be a little bit of a delay between the YouTubes and getting up on the screen here. This is the after party, by the way. Wait, yep. Robert says YOLO. Oh! And I went to get iced tea so I'd have something to drink because my voice was getting dry. And there we go. You see the drips there? That's what happened. That is what happens when you start drinking covfefe and the covfefe is spiked with rum. And now I have iced tea spilled everywhere. It's on my headphones. You know what, Robert? You said that. You said YOLO, and then LP is okay. So I'll wait till somebody says something again, and then I'll see how many seconds it's delayed. Come on. You guys are saying stuff. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 seconds. So I'm going to read the other chat here. I could just bring this. You know what I could do is I could really freak everyone out. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you guys can't see this anyway. So I'm just going to put, right now I've got the YouTube chat in front of me here. You guys can't see it, but that'll enable me to react faster to you. I was going to talk about something. Now I've forgotten what. I'm just thirsty and, oh look. Think iced tea is good for a camera battery? That's probably not ideal. Now I can see me in the corner of the screen delayed, which is weird. It's very weird. All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I am going to go get a towel because I'm looking at a puddle full of iced tea here. I'll be right back. All right, I got another iced tea. So, nobody did movie night this year. This week. No, actually, Bridget was there, and Joanna was there. Wait, I'm not mute again. No, I couldn't be mute. I didn't turn my mic off. Hold on. No, we're good. We're good. Again, this is a weird delay going on here, and now I'm frozen on my screen. So hopefully you guys can see this. Let me just mess with this because. The quality is way low on my YouTube. Oh, that's interesting. When you set auto quality on YouTube, it wants to broadcast at 480. So if you hit the little gear at the bottom of your YouTube and you're on a PC, you can force it through at 1080. I am broadcasting at 1080, 90 regularly now. So if you want better quality to be able to see, you're a quiet bunch today? Yeah. Lindsay wasn't there, and everybody, really, we spent the entire time on movie night talking about how much everybody missed Lindsay. They were pretty disappointed with everything. It's good to spill iced tea on your electronic equipment. That's probably happy for everybody. So I don't know if I'll get remonetized by YouTube. I hope so. You guys have been awesome. People contributing during this time of demonetization. And right now, I'm getting $300 in unemployment in addition to the $250 that I get. And hopefully that will continue. It looks like it'll be $300. I was hoping for $400. Seriously, I know that it's money for me, but am I wrong to say, really, you've got to cut money to the unemployed? The money, because, you know what it is? Because people in his state are saying, business owners are saying, we can't get employees to do the cheap stuff. Well, maybe you're not paying the employees enough. Yeah? Maybe we need a minimum wage. What's the minimum wage? Oh, I don't have a keyboard. We're stuck. I just gotta leave this running all night. I have no keyboard to do a Google. Someone Google for me. Someone Google minimum wage in West Virginia. That's where Joe Manchin represents. Rice works for anything. Rice will soak up anything, but I have a towel. So, and the electronics, it's just that one camera battery, really. So I'm not particularly worried about it. And I had one of my recorders. This is my audio recorder that I use, and it's very good. If you're looking for like $100 audio recorder, the Zoom H1N is superb at what it does. Even without, this is my microphone that I stick in the side here. Even without that microphone, these microphones on the top that come built into the Zoom are fantastic. So if you guys need to record audio for anything, the young lady that I recorded she's the one that screams, "Shut the fact up!" And her name is Kat. And that was recorded on her front porch because COVID. And I literally just set this thing up on the front porch, and she stood at her door, which was probably 8 to 10 feet away, and just shouted it through a little toy megaphone that I brought for her. And this picked it up beautifully. Okay, so Virginia is one of the states with the 725. Virginia has the very minimum wage that you can have in the United States. That's the reason that Joe Manchin doesn't want to give me $400 more a month. And so I will continue begging you guys for money. So that's where that comes down to. How's everybody? I got a few more minutes here. Does anybody want to talk about anything, or we can go from there? This is just nothing time if you're just tuning in. This is just me talking to the peoples. If you're just tuning in for the first time. LP is sending Marcy Grover a heart. That's nice. Marcy just DM'd me minimum state by... Oh, okay, so my mouse pad is also soaked. So I don't know if you guys can see the dark patch right there. So also my mouse is soaked. So I was going to go and look at that DM. I'm pretty much powerless right now. I'm sitting here. There's a keyboard and a mouse. This is a wet mouse pad. And this is all I have. I'm stuck. I can't even... look at the wetness on the back of that, huh? Let me grab my keyboard. I should dry it off, and I'm going to dry under the mouse. This is fascinating live streaming for you people. Hal Sparks, it couldn't match this. Thank you. Thank you. I have a towel already, but I didn't want to say because you just say thank you. You don't want to tell because. Kev, how long can they hold up Garland? They can. Actually, not that long. It's up to the Democrats because all it takes is 50 votes to pass somebody, and Manchin, who already killed one of the. It's like Manchin is just a Republican who runs in the Democratic Party. Yeah, so much of what he is. But he's also not a Republican because he did vote for the relief bill, the rescue bill, and not a single Republican did. Not a single Republican voted for money for the American people. That being said, it was full of pork. So, again, this is why we need a third party. This is why we need a middle-of-the-road party that, oh, hey, yeah, no, that's a great idea. Some of those things are great ideas. But you know what? We don't need that much money for that. YouTube wants to use my microphone. What is it going on? This is what happens when you dry your mouse. Now everything's wonky. Hold on. I hope I'm still broadcasting. Does he want Schumer's job? No. If he becomes a Republican, declares himself a Republican, then McConnell takes over Schumer's job. Manchin can't have Schumer's job. Because the way you get to be majority leader is to be voted on by your party and your party be in the majority. Hal did this set 2 days ago. I knew it. He already did this. Hal did the whole spilling on everything 2 days ago. He had his sound guy is Randy or whatever. Remember that time we were watching and it's the one time we watched. he was talking about all the fake employees that he had in his studio. Hold on. This is why you have employees. I've got my 5 judges, and occasionally Brian comes in and cues me. He's my producer when I'm live. Now I'm mute again. Okay, now I'm back. I was drawing the keyboard, and there's a button apparently on the keyboard that mutes me. So that's what happened there. Did anybody else? Any other questions? Any other comments? I know I was muted for a second there. So I will let this stuff dry. There we go. I think the mouse will still work without the pad. It will. The bell works. Well, as long as my hair looks cute, I think that's what really matters in the long scheme of things. I did have something I wanted to talk to you guys about. What was it? It was probably about me. It's obviously not that important, but I did have something I wanted to share with you guys, and I can't really think of it right now. So such is life. Oh, so I did. So I got my new fancy watch that keeps track of my heart rate, which is important. So I got that, and again, thanks to those of you generous enough to continue supporting me during this time. But I got the fancy watch that was super, super cheap at Costco, so I didn't spend too much money on it. But it is something that my cardiologist is like, well, no, you should track that because you need your heart. Joanna's making sushi. Is at random here? I don't think I've seen at random. At random, are you in here? That's the end of the watch story. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So when I borrowed the watch, when I purchased the watch, as soon as I ordered the watch from the Costco, I ordered from Amazon the covers, you know, the plastic things that you put over your phone or the glass or whatever to protect the watch screen. They arrived 3 or 4 days before the watch. So then the watch got here and I was like, sweet, I should put the plastic thing on. I should really do that. So a week later, I should really do that. And as I'm pulling up to the tennis courts to play my tennis exercise, I get out and as I'm pulling up, I'm thinking about what am I going to do later in the day. And I said, oh, you know what the first thing I should do is put on the cover for the watch because I haven't yet. I'm getting out, somebody says something, and I turn and scrape the watch, give my watch a big scratch on the side of my car. I then went straight home after tennis and put the little covers on. And by the way, they work great. Dr. Howard's back. I don't think At Random is here, producer Joanna, but if you're making sushi, feel free. I would just drop it, drive by and throw it. I'll open up the window. Okay, I think that's probably enough post-game time today. It doesn't look like anybody had too much on their mind. I wanted to just check in with you guys. Oh, when is the next Trump inauguration day? There is one too. Hold on. Let's see if the keyboard actually still works. QAnon was saying, so the date was the 4th, which of course is the date that the president used to be inaugurated on, and we changed that 1,000 years ago to January 19th because people in Congress realized, like, this whole lame duck for 6 months, let's lighten that a little bit. And so it became January 19th, which makes sense, especially considering Congress comes in on about January 3rd. There is a new so March 4th became the QAnon date, and then a couple of weeks ago, realizing of course that no, nothing's going to happen on March 4th. March 4th is also the date of the vice president taking over in the 12th Amendment, which was then it's still in there, but it's been supplanted by other legislation and other places in the Constitution. Anyway, the March 4th date is in the Constitution as well. Lame duck should be like 10 days. I agree, Melanie. Lame duck, well, you have to make it after the certifications. So you have what you call your safe harbor day, and then you have your electoral Congress, the count of the vote. We don't even need the count of the vote. First, we should get rid of the electoral college. But if you're going to keep the electoral college, I know it's gone super long. if you're going to keep the electoral college, then you want to get rid of the January 19th. But having it on January 19th also gives the winning party enough time to organize the inauguration balls and the inauguration itself, the after party. It's all about the parties, really, right? Chris Wilson is here. Chris, we're just wrapping up. But now, what was I looking up, guys? I have West Virginia population on my screen. I was going to look up something else. We were talking about something else, and Chris Wilson just blew it. Oh, that's what it was, QAnon. So about 2 weeks before March 4th, word on the QAnon street was, oh, no, it's not March 4th. That's just the fake news media saying that it's supposed to be. It was March 4th that QAnon was saying. So let's find the new Just You Wait date. We'll say new QAnon Trump inauguration. I think you might be right on March 20th. Inauguration, because of the way it's spelled, is one of the few words that I can't just type. I have to go like N-A-U-G-U-A-R-X-T-Y-V. How's Antarctica? Antarctica is looking very good. Still very few COVID cases. 4 days ago, 3 days ago. It is March 20th. According to Newsweek, QAnon is now saying it's going to be March 20th that Trump is taking over. And I'm all for it because I cannot wait for my tremendous health care. Sexy Mr. Wilson, is my dad here? Yeah, it's true. Actually, guys, if you knew Chris's dad, hubba hubba. And I'm going to bet you haven't heard hubba hubba in 10 years. The judges haven't. I thought you guys were all gone. No? Just the one. Just the one is left. We're supposed to go for sushi. Producer Joanne is making sushi for the whole neighborhood. So we're going to head over there. Okay. Melanie says, are we moving to Antarctica? I'd love to leave Palm Beach. We should move very close to Antarctica. We should go to New Zealand. And you can't get into New Zealand unless you know that the password is Nuzealand. So if you live there, you call it Nuzealand. Don't forget to like this live stream before we leave. I'm just looking forward to JFK Jr. as VP. I've missed JFK Jr. so much, but it's going to be a pleasure to have John as our new VP. We finally have 0 cases in the facility where I'm at. Yes! Dr. Howard is in a long-term care facility. Am I saying that right? Whatever it is in Florida, there are no cases at her. And this is what we're going to see. We're going to see because now the folks in the the biggest news. Let me first. I'll tell you about the biggest news in a second. The folks in the long-term care facilities, the older folks in the hospitals and the hospice care, etc. They've all been vaccinated. So now we're going to see all the death rates plummet because the most vulnerable have been taken care of with the vaccines. Now, on the flip side of that, you're going to get people saying like, hey, COVID's gone. And cases are still going to, but a lot of people, because they've been vaccinated, they're going to get it and not even realize they haven't. So cases should start to follow suit. Goldie says there's 0 cases in her household. So congratulations, Goldie. Goldie, I was just thinking about you the other day. We got to get to, Goldie, you got to get good at tennis and then we'll play tennis. I used to play tennis with Goldie like 1,000 years ago. Hold on a second, because what's the COVID project? The COVID, not the exit strategy. What's the other one? The COVID tracking project. Here we go. We'll pull that up on the big screen over here. And we should, by now, see the death rate. I haven't checked it in a few days. Look at this. This is fantastic. Look at the deaths, new deaths. We are still at 1,600 as of March 6th. So yesterday we were still at 1,600s. No, get good so you can beat me. No, I just want you to play tennis. Current hospitalizations, and I want you to bring your asthma medication with you. Current hospitalizations just plummeting because the old folks are getting vaccinated. This is fantastic news. New cases, look at that, way down. And that's a number of different reasons that's happening. But a lot of it has to do with the vaccines. New tests, people are not taking tests because they're vaccinated. So people who might even have it are like, I've been vaccinated, I don't need to worry, and so they're not getting tested. And some places that were testing before, you have to take a test in order to do this particular job. Have you been vaccinated? Oh, you're good then. So hopefully we will find out at some point that if you're vaccinated, that means that your ability to infect someone else asymptomatically has plummeted as well. We don't know that for sure yet, but new studies are starting to find anywhere between 75 and up seems to be the number that we're looking at there. Goldie says the graph looks like my... Sorry, the judges interrupted that. They didn't want me to read the entire sentence. Heather, awesome. Congratulations for what? I can't see it on my thing. Hold on. Let me pull up that YouTube feed I was watching again so I can see things. Heather, just got my first dose yesterday. That's awesome, Heather. Do we have any teachers in our group? We have a couple of educators, don't we? When will you do my report on ALFs, Heavenly Father? Alien life forms? No, I haven't seen the report. Send it to me again, Dr. Howard, if you've actually sent me a report, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, Melanie Shannon, what do you think of the governor who turned down the J&J Johnson & Johnson vaccines, saying they aren't as good? Yeah, so that is Detroit. I don't know if it's another governor that we're referring to. It's not a governor, but the city of Detroit turned down the J&J, and the word on the street is that it's partially because he's like, oh, just because we're black, we get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, huh? Which isn't the case at all. I will, if I cannot get the Pfizer, I will take the Moderna or the J&J. Very happy to do it. There's a big part of me that wants to take the J&J because then it's done. And I was reading an article on that on Vox today. No, I'm trying to get monetized, Goldie. I'm not currently monetized. Hold on, let's look up. I just want to look up Vox and we'll see that article because it's like all the vaccines are good, but they're not all the same. Let's just go to Vox. Understand the news, it says. I didn't even know that was Vox's thing. Vox mini guitar amplifiers. That's not going to help us. Vox, understand the news. That's what I pulled up. Okay, there we go. Oh, I wonder if I've got a virus that's pulling up websites to buy things. Heather got the Pfizer. Awesome. That's the best of... If you have a choice between Pfizer and Moderna, get the Pfizer because you're done more quickly. And they're about the same in terms of efficacy. Or as Dr. Fauci would say, effication. Whatever he says. Let's see. Hawaii is getting a big batch of the J&J, and our lieutenant governor, physician, says they're excellent. They are. They totally are. Here's the difference between the two. Let's see if Vox lays it out for us, because they've done the, okay. When comparing COVID-19 vaccine efficacy, numbers can be misleading. This might have been the article that I was reading. Yeah, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, who's kind of a weirdo to begin with, turned down 6,200 Johnson & Johnson vaccine doses. Fine, those doses will go somewhere else. But the people of Detroit, seriously, you should get rid of Duggan. Or Dugan. I don't even know how to say his name. Let's see if we've got a chart here or whatever. Johnson & Johnson also costs only $10 a dose compared to $25 and $37 on the others. Johnson & Johnson doesn't have to be kept really cold. Johnson & Johnson is great because you can drive around the neighborhood with a refrigerated truck. You could have a refrigerator. You could be in a camper van with a refrigerator cooled by ice and give out the vaccine. Okay, but the people hear the 90-95 and they equate that. The big thing is so far the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 100% effective against hospitalization and death. That's your big worry. So you might get some symptoms. You might get some nausea. You might feel a flu. You might get a headache. You might lose your sense of taste and smell. In a reduced factor. Not 100%, but let's say 33% of the time, you might have that if you catch the virus. They don't know for sure. And that's, by the way, the Johnson & Johnson was tested later in the cycles when some of the variants were out there as well. So it may be almost as effective. So get the Johnson & Johnson. If that is your choice, get it. Also, Johnson & Johnson was tested against the South African virus. And... it was 85.9% efficacious. in the U.S., well, in South Africa, efficacy against severe and critical disease was reduced to 81.7%. And no deaths. That's the big thing. Leah said, I got the Pfizer vaccine, and I'm looking forward to getting the J&J one for good measure. Okay, she's joking. But with the Johnson & Johnson, there is nothing from keeping you later getting one of the other vaccines if it turns out that the J&J needs to be enforced or reinforced. Also with J&J, they are doing studies now on the efficacy of 2 J&J vaccines, one on top of the other as a booster. So if you can get the J&J, do the J&J. I just want to see how long after the J&J, one of you might know this right off the bat. How long after the J&J are you good, is my question. Where are you at max efficacy for the J&J single vaccine? Because the J&J, for me, if I can get out there sooner, if I get to whatever their efficacy level is in 3 weeks, that's right when I would get the second shot. That gets me back into the mix of things 2-3 weeks sooner than I might get in there with the big news that I was bearing earlier. Both my parents are now done. They've had both vaccines, 14 to 21 days on J&J. Thank you, Dr. Howard. Yes, so fantastic. Both my parents are done. They had family members over the other day. So they've had both vaccines, and then they waited. I think they had the Moderna, and they waited the 10, 11 days or whatever it is after Moderna, so that they should be as protected as they possibly can be. They still use social distancing, and of course, the immediate family members that they had over there, they all get tested regularly, and they are still in their bubble. So I'm just very happy that I guess she's my stepmother. I call her my new mom. My dad's new wife, because my other mother passed away, she deserted us. Her family was able to come and visit, and so that's very cool. Once I get the vaccine, I cannot wait to go and hug my dad. So things are happening, and more good news is happening as well, and I'll share that with you later. What is so Pfizer is 3 weeks till the next shot, and they give you that appointment when you go, by the way. And some of the systems you just make it online. But here in California, if you go to one of the mass vaccination sites, you get a 3-week appointment. They give it to you that day or when you make the reservation. And then you have your second vaccine. Does anybody know how long it is between I thought this would have the difference in terms of how long the whole processes take. It doesn't appear to in this Fox article. So does anybody know like the total time for Pfizer after the second shot? And then the total time after Moderna's 1 month for the second shot. And then I guess just 10 days after the second shot is what they told my parents. So that's cool. Collins Jackson's had to wait 5 weeks for Pfizer. So after Pfizer, you got both shots, Chris, and then it was 5 weeks after that? Explain to me what you're saying there. And then I'll let you guys go. Well, I mean, you guys, I'm not holding you here. You guys are free to leave anytime. 2 weeks past the second. So yeah, so Pfizer's slightly faster than Moderna, slightly faster. Get whatever they offer. Don't hold out for Pfizer, is what I'm saying. If you can get Johnson & Johnson, get Johnson & Johnson, because 3 weeks after Johnson & Johnson, you're done. No, 5 weeks between doses, and that was in Washington, Chris, or I'm assuming. 2 weeks past second, 5 weeks past the first, and that's probably because of availability problems with the vaccine originally. Now in California, and that partly because they're limiting who can get it, but I know Washington is even more restrictive, but they've got enough vaccine supply now that they schedule your test right away. Someone said, here, I'll go to this screen. Someone said something about, I've already missed it. The one screen I was reading is so delayed. Dr. Howard says, Melanie, this is something that I've been dealing with for decades, and I was going to have it done last year, but then COVID struck. My hubby got Pfizer. Stephanie says, my hubby got Pfizer, and he has to wait 3 weeks for a second shot. Yes, that's correct. That is actually the timeline for Pfizer. So that's that. Washington availability was that he had to wait 5 weeks, which is fine. There are many countries, for example, the UK is giving people first doses until everybody has first doses, and then we'll go back and get the second doses. That way, because they found that the efficacy of the vaccines after just one dose is quite effective. is quite high. I haven't seen any exact numbers on there, but the testing that they've done is somewhere between 65 and 70%, which is enough. It should be enough to give us herd immunity sooner. So it will be interesting to watch what happens in the UK. I'm for that. I'm like, no, give people what you can as soon as possible. For the older folks, the more vulnerable, the ones in the 92% likely to die. It's not true, but you know what I'm saying. Give them both vaccines. But in terms of the general public, without preconditions or not pre-existing underlying conditions, just blanket as much as you can. Get as many people slightly vaccinated as you can. Can someone loan me $500,000 so I can buy a vaccine from DeSantis? That's an excellent question, Melanie. I will leave that to you guys. If somebody does have a $500,000 extra, please contact Melanie. She needs it, so she can get that from DeSantis. I think that's a good note to end on. I am in a very positive mood. People I know are getting vaccinated. My parents are vaccinated. Honestly, every time just saying that out loud, I feel like crying right now. The relief factor of I don't have to worry about mom and dad. What a blessing. What a blessing to have medical science on our side. 20 years ago, we would not be here. 20 years ago, mRNA did not exist. Johnson & Johnson might just be coming out. By the way, thumbs up to Merck and the Biden administration for making Merck, not making them, but some kind of negotiation happen so that Merck is now producing the Pfizer vaccine. That being said, that negotiation probably wasn't too hard with them getting $25 per shot and you're making 40 million vaccines. Let's see. DeSantis will forever be known as the governor who killed Mickey Mouse and friends. We'll leave it at that. Collins Jackson, so happy. I'm so happy to find out that Chris, people right within our own little chat here, are now almost safe. And that makes me feel fantastic. Invest in syringes. Invest in large syringes that can get, because that's one of the stalling points right now. Some of the vaccines have 6 in the tube, but the syringes aren't long enough to get the bottom one. So we're just giving out 5. We have a shortage of long syringes. Okay, guys. You guys be good. I'm starting to get a stuffy nose because I almost cried. And I swear to God, I wouldn't cry today. All right, you guys be good. I will probably see you tomorrow. I can't guarantee. There's no guarantees. I'm a busy man. So I did ask. I went down to one of the big sites near me, and I asked. I said, what I was doing there was asking, could you, at the end of the day, and they said, well, yes, we usually have 3 or 4 at the end of the day, sometimes a couple more, but we give them out to people that are currently eligible. So if you come down here and you wait, you're not going to get it. I said, okay, cool. And I said, I'm eligible on the 15th. She says, just wait it out. I said, what about if I volunteer? She said, all the volunteers that they have at that site, at the mass sites, are county workers to begin with. So I'm not needed there. We're not going to do a movie tonight. We'll probably do another movie on Friday, I'm guessing. And we'll do a movie. I'm not going to let Kevin Lee Daughter choose the movie. Lumen Field about to do mass vaccines, 20,000 a day. Awesome. Things are coming together, folks. We're finally at the end of the tunnel here. Speaking of the end of the tunnel, I'm hungry. I have an endless tunnel right there. I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody. Go get